just like Iowa, just wears different colors. The Utah Utes, man, we were excited about this game, but coming off of USC's whoopsie-daisy game against Notre Dame, that packs a little bit less punch, but in terms of the Pac-12 title race, no change in how important this game is. So with USC playing host after falling to Utah twice last season, you think Caleb Williams gets back on track against a Utah defense that hasn't really lost too much of a step from program standard?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the thing about last week was Notre Dame was constantly all up in Caleb's grill. Like, he did not have any time. Notre Dame has one of the most effective pass rushes in the country as far as pressure rate. Utah ranks 50th nationally in pressure rate. They aren't doing as good of a job of getting at the quarterback. So I expect Caleb will have more time this week than he did last week. And I don't like Caleb Williams is not the guy you saw last week. He had a terrible game. He's much better than that, though. So I don't think you're going to see a similar performance. And for me in this one, the bigger question is, has Utah's offense finally found a defense they can score points against?
I mean, how much different is USC's defense than Oregon State's defense?
Not too much.
Yeah, like Oregon State's defense is better, but it's not insanely better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think about the last time that Utah went on the road with this offense, and it did not go very well, right? They score 7 points?
7 points in Corvallis, yeah.
Look, maybe they can score low 20s max, like best case scenario if Rising doesn't play. Are they getting more than like 21, 24? USC at home almost always is scoring, you know, in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a situation in which USC doesn't bounce back. Lincoln Riley's press conference yesterday was pretty interesting. He's insisting like they're close to something, I guess, to being really good, to hitting plays. I think USC probably wins it, but man, like that performance looks so disorganized. They are hard to bet on right now.
I mean, if there's a silver lining, if you're USC, besides the fact that, you know, last week's loss wasn't a conference loss, it's that you actually haven't really played all that well this year.
Okay, do they have a good game yet?
That's what I'm saying.
No,
so they have not had a completely like good game to this point. So there is still room to improve. And once it clicks, again, you still haven't lost a Pac-12 game. The season is not over.
Notre Dame had 2 touchdown drives of 50 yards or more against USC's defense. 48-20 final score, but I didn't know how to negotiate that, right? Like, are you going to really try to make the argument of, well, actually USC's defense played all right in this game, or because they forced field goals on short fields, because they did force a couple of punts, or does that say more about Notre Dame in general and sort of where the Fighting Irish are offensively?
Both.
Yeah. Also, the lead dictated that Notre Dame never had to really chuck the ball around, which is the defined weakness of this team. So obviously the Irish are not going to be like, hey, let's do something dumb that we also don't do well.
So try and let USC back into the game.
Yeah, right. So it's hard to say. And I think USC's run defense has been a good bit better than its pass defense has been this year. So, Notre Dame didn't really try to me.
Ryan in the chat says they just tackled better. So, hey, and look,
that's important.
That's
important.
They
usually don't tackle well at all.
Well, yeah. I got to say something smart here.
Wait,
Notre Dame's running back really good, right? Estime is hard to tackle legitimately. The receivers you just played for Arizona and for Colorado are considerably more slippery than what you have in South Bend. So I'm still TBD on their ability to tackle in space.
Yeah.
Not that Utah has a lot to scare you there.
Oh, and by the way, for the Cam Rising thing, I'm done. I'm just not expecting him back. Like if he does come back, That will be a surprise for me. But I am basing my pregame preparation as I go into a weekend with the thought that it is going to be Nate Johnson, Bryson Barnes, some combination of the two, probably Johnson. And that is Utah is turning the page because Rising keeps doing this. Get out there, do some stretches. But
did he stretch this last week?
What?
Did he go through warm-ups this last weekend?
Did he do the deep knee bends,
Did he? I didn't pay attention to it this year or this time. I just figured he's done for the year, but that's speculation on my part.
It's just the way that I have to move forward. And Kyle Whittingham's not going to give us an answer. We'll see if that ever becomes something. He certainly won't do it this week. So, the ABC game in prime time for the ACC is Duke and Florida State. I think when they laid the schedule out, they expected that to be the ACC network game because that's where you can find Miami hosting Clemson. Whoo, boy.
How is that on the...
And listen. Dabo, he's talking about you need to lose a little, lighten the bandwagon up, really rallying the troops. Mario Cristobal still hasn't defeated an ACC team at home.
Wait, like this year?
At all. You know that.
Told you. They have negative home field advantage in games that are not the Florida State game. Their fans don't show up. I'm not lying about that. The numbers prove it out. They don't play to the number at home.
It is not the best game of the weekend, and it is my ACC poisoned brain, but I am very dialed into what happens in this game because the loser is coming out down bad. The winner, you can, spin some things forward about how each team, what the path might look like to get back in that ACC title race. Doesn't look like as much of a runaway after Louisville goes to lose at Pitt, for example. North Carolina, they go to Clemson late in the season. They still have to play Duke. So maybe we can talk ourselves into a 2-loss, 6-2 Clemson team backing its way into a rematch with Florida State. Sure. But it requires a win here. A loss for Clemson, night. Your goals are now what? This is going to be one of the lowest win totals that you've had since Dabo Swinney was on the hot seat, losing in the Continental Tire Bowl to BJ Daniels in South Florida. We'll see how things go. Miami, of course, losing here, devastating. What about the matchup? How do these two teams match up against each other?